You don't need to have sex during pregnancy. You don't need to do exercises during pregnancy. You don't have to fly on an airplane during pregnancy. People have all these speculations. Which one is true? Which one is false? So in this video, I'm going to debunking some of the myths about pregnancy. If you want to know more about this, you have to stick to the end of this video because I saved the best for the last, okay? Hi guys, hi my lovely people. Nice meeting you guys once again, and it's me, Dr. NG. Welcome back to my channel if you're a returning subscriber, and if this is your first time joining us, welcome to this channel. Here we share all sorts of good information about health and wellness, okay? But today we are going to be talking about something very interesting, okay? Misconceptions about pregnancy. So we're going to be debunking some of these myths that people put out there in the public about pregnancy. You know, a lot of people have their own perspectives, their own speculations about what is true, what they think is true actually about pregnancy. But we're going to be discussing this myth. I'll be telling you what is true and what is not true. The first one would be people saying that you can't exercise during pregnancy, okay? So that is false. Exercise is very good. It helps you to keep fit. It makes you stronger. It keeps you healthy. It doesn't pose a threat to you or your baby when it comes to pregnancies, okay? So during pregnancy, you can have like the mild to moderate intensity exercise, actually. Maybe running, okay, taking a walk. So these are things you can do. You can do this like moderate form of exercises when it comes to pregnancies. You know, as the pregnancy progresses, maybe in your second or third trimester, you have to slow down with the intensity of exercise, okay? You wouldn't be expected to be doing acrobatics, gymnastics, okay, cycling, and all those like vigorous, strenuous exercises. That is not okay for your baby, okay? So try to slow down as you progress in the pregnancy, as you advance in terms of the trimester, okay? So that is what you're meant to do, but not quitting exercise itself. It doesn't make sense. So you can exercise, but don't do something so strong or strenuous. That would be something that would pose a threat to your baby. Then I will advise you to also try the pelvic floor exercises. So this pelvic floor exercise actually helps to strengthen the pelvic floor muscles, okay? So it helps to strengthen it, prepares the pelvic muscles for pregnancy, for labor, okay, and also helps to prevent you from having stress incontinence. What is stress incontinence? That is when after pregnancies, after having a vaginal birth, okay, then when you laugh or when you cough or when you sneeze, like urine leaks out from your urethra without any control. So that's the stress incontinence. And it's usually common in people that have had like multiple vaginal births, okay? So pelvic floor exercises helps to prevent this stress incontinence. And how can you do the pelvic floor exercise? You have to lie down with your knees bent, okay, and try to squeeze your anus as if you're trying to prevent yourself from farting. So when you squeeze your anus, you count up to 1 to 10. And after doing that, then you relax your muscles. So that is how to do the pelvic floor exercise that keeps your pelvic muscles strong. The next one would be when people tell you to eat for two. Obviously, you're eating for yourself and for your baby, okay? You have to be healthy. You have to eat fruits to get the nutrients you need as the mother and for the baby to also get the nutrients the baby needs. But eating for two, you have to eat with carefulness, okay? Eating for two doesn't entail you eating a lot of high calorie foods, okay? Eating a lot of junk, a lot of pastries, and all those type of foods, burgers, pizzas, ice creams. So you have to eat for two, but eat in moderation, okay? So eat more healthy diet, fruits and vegetables, because basically you need the vitamins, the minerals, the baby needs them too. So when you're eating for two, eat with carefulness, because if you eat so much of this high calorie diets, high fat diets, it predisposes you to diabetes, and diabetes in pregnancy will affect you as the mother and can also affect your baby, okay? It can lead to premature birth. It can even make you have very big babies. Okay, so these are not things that you wouldn't want to come down with during pregnancy. So eat in moderation and most especially eat healthy. Healthier meals important, okay? The third point or third myth that we are going to be discussing here would be when people say you can't fly on an airplane during pregnancy. Flying on an airplane during pregnancy is not bad. It doesn't pose any health risk for you or your baby. However, before you fly on an airplane, you should have been reviewed by your OBGYN, okay, confirming that you have no health risk or complications whatsoever that would further be worsened if you fly on an airplane. That review should have been done, okay, stating that you are free from any complications before you can fly. Also, we advise that as you progress during pregnancy, maybe in your third trimester, about 37 weeks or thereabouts, we don't normally advise people to fly, okay, when they've advanced in the pregnancy because of the risk of probably going into labor in the airplane, okay? So that is one clause to that. And there's also one important thing which I really admire about some airlines that they do. After 28 weeks and above rather, before you fly on an airplane, they usually require a medical report or fit to fly certificate, which shows that you've been reviewed by your doctor and you're free from any complications whatsoever. Okay, the fit to fly would also state your gestational age, your expected date of delivery, okay, your personal information, obviously, and possibly that you've gone through all the important investigations that are necessary and that everything is normal. So that fit to fly is also important, okay, before you fly, because it would show that you are free from any complications. So in summary, for this point, flying on an airplane, not bad, but as you advance in pregnancy, most likely in your third trimester, it's not advisable to do so. And also very importantly, you should have been reviewed by your doctor to rule out every possible complications, okay, before you fly on an airplane. The next point would be you would have strange cravings during pregnancies, okay? So you're likely to have cravings for food during pregnancy, okay? Like, just craving a lot of food and trying to eat a lot. That's because of the hormonal changes, okay? So you can crave to eat snacks, you can crave to eat food, but when you crave very strange things, especially inedible things like craving dust, craving sand, to eat these items that are inedible, that is a problem. Please do not eat that. That is actually a condition known as pica and usually signifies iron deficiency anemia. So when you crave these inedible things, non-food substances, please go and meet your doctor for you to run some investigations, be evaluated, and if this is iron deficiency anemia, it will be corrected by you taking hematinics that are necessary, okay? So please do not eat all these inedible things, and people will tell you that strange cravings are normal. Cravings for food substances are normal, but these strange cravings for inedible substances, very abnormal. So do not eat sand and dust and say that it is normal, because this could be a potential harm to your baby. The next point is morning sickness only happens in the morning. I know we call it morning sickness because usually it occurs in the morning, but it doesn't mean that though the morning sickness in quotes can't occur in the daytime or in the nighttime, okay? So this morning sickness that we call it are basically, early pregnancy symptoms like nausea, vomiting, having slight headache, feeling a bit warm. So things like that, feeling tired, fatigue. So this early pregnancy symptoms called the morning sickness can occur at any point in time, okay? It can occur at any time of the day. So morning sickness in summary can occur at any point in the day, okay? It can occur in the morning, afternoon, or night, okay? But when you start having this morning sickness, when it becomes worse, you start seeing yourself vomiting persistently, you can't hold down any food that enters your system, okay? And you're feeling so weak, so nauseous, throwing up every now and then, that could be a sign of hyperemesis gravidarum that presents with a severe vomiting, weakness, and being very dehydrated. When people come down with this hyperemesis gravidarum, they may require hospital admissions, okay? Be admitted into the hospital, given IV fluids, to sustain them, to keep them better till they can recover, okay? So when you experience this severe vomiting and it's becoming so worse, that is not a normal pregnancy symptom or morning sickness. So you have to go to the hospital. Then I told you I saved the best for the last, okay? People have this misconception that you shouldn't have sex during pregnancy, okay? Having sex during pregnancy is not wrong entirely, all right? The penis is not so long that it can actually go beyond the vagina to go and harm your baby, okay? So it's safe to have sex during pregnancy, but there is a clause. If your doctor has reviewed you and you have some contraindications to having sex during pregnancy, then you shouldn't have sex during pregnancy, okay? So if you have conditions like placenta previa, when you have a low-lying placenta, that when you have sex, it can actually trigger severe bleeding and it can actually pose a threat to your baby, you shouldn't have sex during pregnancy. If you have a threatened miscarriage, okay, you shouldn't have sex during pregnancy because you already have a complication along the line. Also, if you have a condition known as cervical incompetence, that is when the cervix dilates before the actual time, before the right time is meant to dilate, okay? Maybe when you're in your first or second trimester and the cervix is actually expected to be closed by then and you see the cervix dilating, okay? So when it dilates early in pregnancy, which is not meant to be, it is also a contraindication for you to have sex, okay? So don't have sex under such circumstances. Also, when your partner has been diagnosed with an STI, please do not have sex, okay? You can, even if you want to have sex, use barrier methods, okay, like condoms, because, the sexually transmitted infections can go beyond your vagina and also affect the baby, okay? So you can have an ascending infection that can enter the womb and cause all sorts of complications there. So having sex during pregnancy is okay, unless there's already a complication or there's a contraindication for you to have that, which can affect your baby, okay? And that brings us to the end of this video. Hope this video was helpful to you. Okay, so these are a few of the myths that we were able to debunk today. So this is like a part 1 video for this. If you want a part 2, please let me know in the comments. If you also have some myths that you need me to clarify on, some misconceptions about pregnancy that you want me to clarify and debunk, please also let me know in the comment section. And if you've not subscribed, very important, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like, okay, and also comment, okay, comment, share this video to people, and I can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye.